Well, the pandemic has put a lot of us through a lot of different predicaments. The severity spanned the spectrum, from the absurd, like runs on toilet paper, to the critical, like crisis standards of care in our hospitals. There's a shortage of bikes or baking essentials, used cars, lumber, cleaning supplies, glass jars, cereal, whatever. Just fill in the blank. Shortage has become a vital part of the public health vocabulary. Sadly, the medical field has been in the middle of most of these inadequacies. Personal protective equipment at the beginning, remember that? To now IV poles, syringes, and apparently crutches. Modern crutches are made of aluminum, and according to global wholesaler Alumco Group, there's currently a global aluminum shortage because of, well, three things. Increased construction because of stimulus packages out there, increased investment in green technologies, which includes aluminum because it's lightweight and better than plastic, and mostly because there's been a production cut in China. China produces about 58% of the world's aluminum, we're told, and about 80% of the world's magnesium, which is used to harden aluminum. So that shortage has recently trickled down to our area healthcare facilities. Primary Health operates about 24 urgent care clinics around the Treasure Valley, the kind of place you might go with a leg injury, and a place where they might send you home with crutches to help with said leg injury. About a month ago, Dr. Derek Hamblin, the urgent care director with Primary Health, he started noticing they were running out of crutches to provide for their patients, specifically the mid 5-foot range. But it wasn't until he made some calls did he realize the situation.
So when this first happened to me, I called all our neighboring clinics. We called all the pharmacies. I think it was in Nampa. I was working there, and called Norco, and we couldn't find any.
Wow.
And we talked to our supplier, and they told us that they're looking at shortages and difficulty getting crutches through mid 2022, so mid next year. So this is not a short-term problem. This is something we need to do something about now.
So what are you guys hoping happens now? What do you want to see happen?
We want people who aren't using their crutches to bring them in so that we can evaluate them, fix them, and clean them up, and then redistribute them out to patients who need them. And then those patients, when they're done using them, if they could bring it back to us and do the same, this will allow us to hopefully get through the shortage.
Have you ever had to rely on donations as a medical facility?
No. Especially in medicine, right? I mean, usually everything's kind of new and clean. You don't do donations. So, but I mean, it's aluminum. It's something we can clean and disinfect. And if you have a patient who's take the weight off their leg and they can't do it, I mean, that's difficult.
Well, Dr. Hamblin told us urgent care doctors usually send about 10 to 15 patients a week home with crutches. And as you heard him, this shortage is expected to last through the middle of next year, barring any significant changes. Now, their donation drive begins this week, so they're asking you to bring in some crutches that you are not using that are in decent condition to any of these 3 locations on the screen here. Friday, November 12th when it starts, and it's going to run until they can get these crutches easily from their suppliers, or at least on a more consistent level. You can see the drop-off locations on this screen. It goes from Boise to Garden City to Nampa. We'll also include them on our website. For their part, he told us they won't be charging patients for these crutches that are donated, and they will ask them to return them when they no longer need them. But it's not just Primary Health. We called a couple of other medical supply places around town and see what they're seeing, and they are seeing the same thing, they said. For example, Mountain Brace Systems in Boise said they've ordered 50 cases of crutches since July, and they've only received 3 of them. The aluminum shortage is also extended to breweries, by the way, known right now as the Candemic, because apparently we've been consuming our beverages in the living room instead of the bar room this last year and a half. And of course, our current obsession with seltzers, which is how White Claw Wednesdays are now a thing.